One of the things that was said right at the end here by right at the end by defense was that this guy had no interest in doing this for any other reason. It had nothing to do with being remembered, and that there was no evidence of that. You will recall from Dr. Reed's interview of the defendant that being remembered was huge for him. In fact, in the notebook, Dr. Reed asks him, "You made a notebook that has to do with how you'd be remembered." And he wrote, "Right." He also, here we go, PowerPoint. Can I get that up there? Everything about this guy is self-centered and self-focused. It has nothing at all to do with any sort of mental illness. Gargi told you that. She said the most important person in the world to the defendant is the defendant. And you know where that sort of subtly showed up? Was in an interview with Dr. Reed where they talked about that Valentine's Day dinner. Do you remember that? And he made the chicken with the crunchy stuff on it and all that, because he liked it. And then he asked him, "Did you do candles?" And he goes, "I did candles." And he said, "Did you do candles because Gargi likes them?" And he said, "No, I did candles because I like them." That theme recurs everywhere. Read the texts. Read the notebook. This guy is absorbed with himself. He's desperate to be remembered, and he's desperate to be wanted. If it can't be by Gargi, he'll try Hillary. If it doesn't work with Hillary, he's flirting with her. No matter what Dr. Gurr says, come on. You don't go twice after the same girl about shorts and talk about how hot she is and not have interest in her. That's not social withdrawal. The selfies. Remember what he tells Dr. Reed? The black contact lenses, they just happened to arrive the day of the shooting. And he starts to take these pictures. Dr. Gurr told us the pictures were to show how easy it was for him to accumulate weaponry. Well, we know that's not true. He says they'd look good to whoever viewed them, to Dr. Metzner. Reed asks him, "You took selfies that had to do pretty specifically with how you'd be remembered." "Right. I don't think people are going to remember me for any other reason." It's unusual to have dyed hair like that and contact lenses like that. More likely to remember something unusual than something mundane. I tested it first, wearing it all, put the slings off and on, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and there's the picture he took. It's important to me to be Is it important for me to be remembered? I'd say yes. And thus the New York Times, from his phone, never ends up doing it, but this is where his head is. Someone needs to see what I've been able to pull off. I put it in the notebook and mailed that, but they got to see these pictures. The last page of the notebook, way down at the bottom, he references the reader, and could this possibly be for Dr. Fenton? classicjimbo.squarespace.com. Now, he never ends up uploading these pictures to it, but this is where his head was when he was thinking about being remembered. And for a guy that wants to be wanted, for a guy that wants to be remembered, for a guy who is willing to kill to increase how he feels about himself, it's paid off for him. Because all that attention that he sought before the murders, it's all coming to him now. This is success. This is his payoff for murdering people. And he knew it was wrong on every single level except the one he cared about the most, and that was himself. But I'm not asking you to remember this. I'm asking you to remember this. On July 19th and 20th, 2012, this guy right here, with hatred in his heart, and it is in everything that he has written before he goes to jail. In fact, he tells Woodcock, "I hate everybody." With hatred in his heart and the belief that he would value himself more based on how many people he killed, knowing full well not another person on the planet Earth would buy into this abstract, theoretical, the words he used with Dr. Reed, theory. He armed himself to the teeth over 2.5 months, thought of every contingency, even plotted potentially getting away, went in there and just killed people left and right, and kept pulling the trigger and only stopped when the gun stopped.